If one looks carefully, the birth of Jesus is marked on the timeline by Bossy, the celestial pole cow. Because she has been forgotten to history, she is lovingly renamed here for the milk cow on the Coleman family Pearl Hill homestead. This constellation is enlarged for clarity on the far left side of the timeline, so that we can dive deeper into the significance of the star prophecy, which was of intense international political interest. First, some background into Bossy, the celestial pole cow constellation. I was tipped off to the potential of this constellation by the Dendera zodiac that used to be in the ceiling of the Temple of Hathor in Dendera, Egypt. In her temple, Hathor, the Queen of Heaven, is stylized as a cow. The curious thing is the labeling of the Big Dipper as the thigh of the cow. Perplexingly abstract is this lone, disembodied cow leg revolving around the center. Nearby, a cow, which is disproportionately large compared to the other constellations, is center stage. After a few minutes of studying the star chart, I was able to imagine the full body of this cow. The Bossy constellation is made of 4 circumpolar constellations. They are 1. Cepheus the King, 2. The Big Dipper, which forms part of the Great Bear constellation of Ursa Major, 3. The Little Dipper, which forms part of the Little Bear constellation of Ursa Minor, and 4. Draco, the Great Red Dragon constellation of the North. In universal mythology, this dragon, who lives upon the mountain of the cosmos, jealously guards the golden treasure safely in the bend of its serpentine body. Because of the Earth's slight wobble, the North Pole star seems to migrate from one star to another at a glacially slow pace. Accordingly, the pole star in one age is not the pole star in another age. By the time of Jesus' birth, the cosmos had moved from revolving around Thuban, the cow's udder, to revolving around the womb of the cow, which is empty or virginal space. Today, if one were to locate this constellation in the northern hemisphere, it would fill a significant portion of the entire sky as it revolves on the axis of today's pole, which has moved from the empty womb of the cow to the pole star Polaris, which is on the center of the cow's back. Years ago, I was enjoying a talk on YouTube by Dr. John S. Thompson called The Lady at the Horizon and subtitled Egyptian Tree Goddess Iconography and Sacred Trees. One image in his presentation captured my imagination in an unexpected way and has had a major influence on the direction of this work. The image, a crude line drawing, was a sketch depicting a scene from the tomb of King Thutmose III and depicted a child nursing from a tree of life in the underworld. Dr. Thompson quoted from the Old Kingdom pyramid text of Pepi I as prefiguring the image. Quoting from the pyramid text, when the deceased king comes to his mother goddess in the underworld journey, she says to her son, "Accept my breast and suck from it, that you may live. Though you are small, you shall go forth to the sky as falcons. This Pepi will go to the sky, to the high mounds, and to yonder high sycamore in the east of the sky, the bustling one atop which the gods sit." End quote. I have thought deeply about this image and Dr. Thompson's commentary for several years. But it wasn't until I was studying the phenomenon of the shifting pole stars in relation to the celestial pole cow that I was hit with the full impact of the total astronomical system and what it says about the coming of Christ. In the previous video about the Apotheosis scroll title page, I commented on a variety of ways that the seventh seal ordinance of the communion of the heavenly parent with their child was conveyed in the mysteries, whether it be by a lion's paw pulling the initiate into the celestial kingdom, or a body-to-body embrace, or a ceremonial feet washing. In the Old Kingdom of Egypt, an aspect of this sacred ordinance was called the opening of the mouth. I read somewhere that part of the opening of the mouth ceremony was to apply milk to the mouth of the deceased. I supposed that what was being conveyed is something like the child nursing from the sycamore mentioned above. Moreover, the 22nd saying in the Gospel of Thomas describes that, quote, Jesus saw infants being suckled. He said unto his disciples, these infants being suckled are like those who enter the kingdom, end quote. Upon further study and meditation on the subject, I realized that in the time of Egypt's Old Kingdom, which was 2649 to 2130 BC, the pole star was Thuban, which can be found in the rear third of Draco's serpentine tail. While it helps to form the distinctive curves of the Draco constellation, Thuban is located within the udder of the celestial pole cow constellation. To suckle from there, 4,500 years ago, would have meant that one was nourished from the center point of the cosmos, the very fountain of the Milky Way tree of life. The second chapter of Matthew describes Magi, Zoroastrian astronomers from the east, who followed a new star to find the newborn Jesus, whereupon they gave him the spices that nurture the phoenix's rejuvenation from the ashes. Every astronomer knows, and the Magi were the best of them, that the only star one follows is the pole star, lest one walk in circles. I wonder if 2,000 years ago a supernova or a comet briefly appeared as the Bethlehem star, a temporary but completely accurate pole star, or the nail in the sure place, in the empty womb of this celestial bovine virgin, alerting the astronomer prophets to the certain birth of the solar Messiah of the age. I said above that Draco, the great red dragon constellation of the north, lives upon the mountain of the cosmos, while jealously guarding the golden treasure safely in the bend of its serpentine body. In the Apotheosis scroll, the golden treasure, guarded by Draco, is the only one of his kind, the prenatal infant, Son of God, the golden calf, anointed at his crowning from the maternal matrix with a golden halo. This birth was phenomenally unique and special, making this virginal pregnancy the uncontestable celestial advent of the only begotten Son of God. Such a body, a celestial body, where matter is sacred and hails from the highest degrees of the heavenly kingdom, is an issuance of the celestial pole cow. While the virgin birth of the temporary pole star in the womb of the cow was miraculously rare, the issuance of seed from the celestial pole cow back to earth is prolific. This pouring forth happens so constantly and with such fecundity that her progeny is represented by the Milky Way, which spills earthward from the dually symbolic Big Dipper, which makes up the celestial pole cow's hind portion. The celestial pole cow represents life beyond Leo's celestial fires, where the human soul is reintegrated and recombined, and is part human and part divine. Jesus, Son of Mary, was a child of his eternal Father and this eternal Mother. In the Christian tradition, and as the incarnation of a transcendent God, Jesus' premortal identity was Yahweh, the God of Israel. In the age of Yahweh, which began around 3,000 years ago, the throne of the Most High was represented by a void in endless space, occupied by an equally invisible God. The name of Christ in the resurrection is Mithras, which means the covenant maker and friend. Now, at Christ's second coming, Polaris, the mercy seat, is the celestial pole of the firmament, marking again the end of the Great Age and the commencement of an entirely new world that happens only once every 26,000 years. Like the falcons lodging in the sycamore tree mentioned above, Corax the raven, a character that will feature prominently in the scroll, is the observer from the tale of Hydra of the grand archetype's successful initiatic ascent. Able to peer behind the veil, Corax is the first to perceive the return of the Exalted One in his red riding gear, as Mithras returns with the whole cosmos subsumed in him and under his command at the end of the great cycle. One can imagine Corax the raven reporting on the triumphal scene as follows, quote, "And it shall be said, Who is this that cometh down from heaven, with dyed garments, yea, from the regions which are not known, clothed in his glorious apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength? And he shall say, I am he who spake in righteousness, mighty to save. And the Lord shall be red in his apparel, and his garments like him that treadeth the wine-vat. And so great shall be the glory of his presence, that the sun shall hide his face in shame, and the moon shall withhold its light, and the stars shall be hurled from their places." End quote. From Doctrine and Covenants, 133, verses 46 to 49. In the upper right-hand portion of the green chalkboard, a fanciful Merkaba chariot, modeled on the Temple of Solomon, is held aloft by giant wings, as the second coming of the Son of Man in his glory amid the clouds is reimagined. It will be demonstrated in panel 028 of the scroll that this celestial apocalypse, observed above in the cosmos, is simultaneously the very same system at work in human biology to produce individual human consciousness. In panel 028, the cross-section of the right hemisphere of the human brain, the temple, is shown to be a star chart for the astral moment described in the Mithraic tauroctony scene. Prophet astronomers charted the very astronomical moment planet Earth is in right now as an invitation to us to learn what they knew. Panel 028 decodes a Mithraic liturgy somehow hidden and until now undiscovered in the missionary sections of the Doctrine and Covenants. This decoding reveals that the depiction of Mithras in the tauroctony scene in the Roman mystery is the invitation, in this very moment of Earth's ponderous and storied history, to participate in the earthly and celestial atonement anticipated by the angels for millennia, an atonement facilitated by human imagination.